Hey y'all, I'm back with another video. Yeah, so today you are gonna come eat with me. Well, you're gonna join me as I prepare some food. And what I'm making today, I can say, is hands down maybe one of the most nutritious meals ever. Why is that? Because we are gonna be making liver, and it's the most nutritious food because liver is one of the few organs that has, I think maybe the only organ that has the ability to completely regenerate. So that means liver is packed full of nutrients, vitamins, trace minerals, protein, all the good stuff that it needs to regenerate. And that's why I think it's a superfood in my opinion. And that's why we're gonna make it today, because I also know it is a little bit challenging to eat organ meats just because the texture. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you my way, how I do it, how I make it absolutely delicious, and yeah, you'll join me through that. And yeah, hopefully you'll take a few tips. I wasn't very precise with my recipe, as I'm usually not. I just eyeball things. But if you are interested in any of the specific, any of the spices, any of the portions, like how much the meat is, like, yeah, just ask me and I'll try to put that together. But yeah, come with me as I cook today and hopefully enjoy the process and enjoy the video. So first we are going to start with doing all the prep work, and I'll start with chopping up all the liver into tiny little pieces because that's how I prefer them. And yeah, it takes a little bit of time, so I'm gonna do that. And then after, I'm gonna put the liver in some milk. I'm gonna let it soak. I'm not sure exactly why you put it into the milk. However, I know it's good. I trust the experts, and that's how I was taught. So yeah, I'm gonna soak it into some milk, let it sit for 30 minutes. Then after, I will rinse it out and clean out all the milk, and then put it in a little bit of water, add in a little bit of salt, and let it not really cook, but just cook a little bit, and until the water is all dried out. And then I'll set it off to the side, and then I'll use the same exact pan to cook later. But in the meantime, we're gonna start preparing the condiments that go into it, and of course onions. I'll chop up a couple of onions, small onions, because onions, it always goes well with liver. And yeah, after chopping the onions, I will do some tomatoes. I usually leave it in a little bit of hot water so I can peel off the skin, because I don't know, I just don't like it's the tomatoes. I'm weird about tomatoes. I'm very specific about my tomatoes. So yeah, I'll soak them in water and peel them, and then chop them up a little bit. But ideally, I would blend them, or anything to make it as smooth as possible. So yeah, and then it's not a lot of ingredients. So after I'm done doing the tomatoes, I will prepare some garlic onion, because that always goes well. Yeah, I'll do garlic onions, and I'll do some ginger together, which I will cook in together with the onions a little bit later. So just doing all the prep work. That's actually the hardest part. Everything else is easy. So once the prep is done, we'll get into cooking the food. Yeah. Okay, so now let's get back into the cooking. And once all the prep is done, I'm gonna take the same pan I used to boil the liver, and because I still want the residue from the liver to be in the pot, it will add flavors to the onions. And I'll add in some olive oil and add the onions on top and let it cook. And usually while I'm cooking, I start adding my seasonings early on. So to layer it, I'll add a little bit of seasoning to every time I add something into the pot, I add a little bit of seasoning. So the same goes for the onions. I'll add a little bit of paprika and a little bit of black pepper to it and let it cook for a little bit. And then I'm gonna add the ginger and the garlic onion to it and let it cook in together. I find ginger, onions, and garlic onions is always a good combination. There's always a good aroma, and they're really good for you. Garlic is also like a good antifungal, antibacterial, anti-everything. And I don't know, it's a little weird, but I like the smell and the taste of garlic in food. So garlic is always a good idea. And yeah, I'm gonna let that cook in. And while that is going, I'm gonna add or prepare my seasonings. I'm gonna put in paprika, cumin, and royco. So I'll have that ready. And while that is going, I'm gonna add my tomatoes in there and add some salt and let it cook, and also add some seasoning and give the tomatoes just time to cook in. I'll cover it up for a little bit, let it cook, and just check on it once in a while to make sure it does not stick to the pot or burn. And yeah, I'll let that keep going. And honestly, after this part, we're done with a lot of the work. Most of the work was in the prep. So yeah, I'll go ahead and add my liver into this and so it can cook. And then I'll add some seasoning so it can all cook in together, and I'll give it some time. And I also usually prepare my liver with intestines. I don't know, it's not really fancy, but like it gives a different texture to the liver. And it's also an organ meat. I'm not sure how healthy or nutritious it is, but I like the taste because it's, I don't know how to explain the texture. It's just different, you know. I like the, it's not really crunchy, but a little bit chewy. Yeah, so you don't really get to taste the liver texture as much, especially if you don't like it. And it's also quite different from muscle meats, you know. So I like organ meats, especially if you mix them up, you know. Anyway, after adding all of this, surprise, the food is done, the food is ready, and I'm gonna serve it in with a little bit of ugali, which is a Kenyan delicacy. It's everywhere in Africa, quite honestly. Most of East and South African countries have a version of it. And I'll serve it up with some vegetable. And yeah, that's it. We're done. And now it's eating time. So enjoy. This is delicious. Yum.